Hello, my name is Philip John. I am Pastor John's son. Let me thank you first for all coming to my dad's celebration of life. I want to thank Pastor Klatt for allowing me to do this. I'm not able to be there. I currently live and work in Osaka, Japan, and I do apologize for not being there. I do want to specifically apologize to my mom, sister, and nieces who have had to bear the brunt of the last few months without my physically being able to be there. They needed a son, a big brother, and an uncle, and I could not be there in person, and I hope they forgive me for that. And again, I want to thank Pastor Klatt for providing that love and support to my family during this time. I tried to get a flat top to do this video, but Japanese barbers don't know how to do flat tops. Flat top, nani desu ka? Which means, huh? So this is the best I could do. I have always been told that I look like him from my early memories. And when I was younger, I really didn't want to hear that. That's not what I wanted to know. No, I don't look like my dad. But as I got older, that morning ultimately came when you go into the bathroom and you look in the mirror and, yep, there he is. I did see some pictures of him later on when he was younger, and he was actually a very, very, very good-looking man. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, maybe I do see the resemblance. Yeah, okay, I do look like him. Especially with this widow's peak thing. My niece thinks it's receding hairline. I think no, because I've had this since I was in my 20s, so it's not a receding hairline. It's called a widow's peak. Do not ask my sister Becky what it's called. She thinks it's called a witch's brow or something like that, which is not a thing. I'm even embarrassed to say I tried to Google it. My very first memory of my dad is a story I call The Bug Bully and the Flying Preacher. This is in Lincoln, Nebraska. I couldn't have been more than 3 years old. And there was a neighbor kid next door that was kind of a bully. He would steal my toys. But his mother was really cool because she would, kill bugs by throwing hot coffee on them. I thought that was cool. But the kid was a bully, and one day he picked up a bug, and he goes, "I'm going to put it on you." And being the pillar of courage that I was, I screamed to high heaven and ran to my tricycle and hopped on it and started pedaling down the sidewalk. And I look over and I see my dad, come out of the front door, which is up on a platform with these stairs. And he comes out and he flies over the stairs across the lawn. That's the flying preacher part. Flies over the stairs across the lawn to confront this bug bully. And I look back, and he is giving a free sermon to the bug bully. And I thought, yes, go Dad. And I never had to worry about bugs again. My dad used to, in Tarzana, he took me to my very first LA Rams game against the Oakland Raiders. We won 20-14. John Madden was the coach, and I remember him, waddling out into the middle of the field to yell at the refs. Ken Stabler, I think, was the quarterback. These are all images that just are really, really special to me now. We went to a lot of Dodger games. And I joked with my dad a couple months ago that, because he changed baseball allegiances depending on what city we were living in. In Tarzana, he was a Dodger fan. In Escondido, he was a Padres fan. And I know when he moved to Elgin, he became a Cubs fan. And I joked with him. I said, well, when you get to heaven, who are you going to cheer for? I guess you'll have to cheer for the Angels. Dad and I think that's funny, even if no one else does. When I was younger, I was also a huge track and field fan. I loved sprinters. I wanted to be one. I could tell you every time, and Olympic champion, going all the way back to Jesse Owens, and so I always had him take me to these track meets all over the LA area. Usually on a Saturday, which kind of a busy day for him. There was one huge meet, an indoor meet in Long Beach, of all places, on a Saturday night, and he took me down, and I know I beamed when I went in there. To see all this lineup of these sprinters that I loved so much. He never said anything about the cost or the driving time or I don't even know if he liked this stuff. I didn't even know if he had an interest in any of this. But he took me to all these different events. He used to tell exaggerated farm stories half of which I believe. The milking the goats and drinking goat's milk, disgusting, but I believe it. The drinking out of the same water trough as the livestock, I don't think so. Um, he used to tell this terrible joke about the duck call, where he would like take the tab off the top of a can and say, "I can make a duck call," and he would polish it and blow on it and go, "Here, ducky, ducky." He is the only one that thought that was funny, and he kept telling it over and over and over again. So we always knew when he got the can that, like, here comes the duck joke. Uh, I did not share his love of golf, even because golf is not a sport. I did try, but it just didn't take. We did share a love of softball together. There was a softball team that we were on, a church softball team in Tarzana, and every Sunday we would play against the other Lutheran churches in the area, and I loved that. And as I think about it now, that was one of the best bonding times that I had with him. On Saturday afternoons, we would hit the softball. Chris Novak would come along, and we'd be at the church hitting softballs and pitching practice. He played outfield, I played pitcher, and we would spend hours just hitting the softball around. I know I think we broke a couple of church windows. But it was these are things that are really special to me. Usually on Saturday evenings in Tarzana, we would spend that time folding bulletins for the church service the next day, while my mother forced us all to watch the Lawrence Welk show. That was like, all right, Mom. That was kind of there was no question about that. My family is going from grandparents to great grandparents to uncles. The families are full of pastors, sometimes more than I think is healthy. You cannot turn around in my family without running into a pastor, and I think it takes a special gift to be a pastor. I do not possess that gift. There's a certain generosity of spirit and a patience and a tolerance and a empathy and a compassion that you have to have, and because you get some strange experiences. There's a cast of characters that come in and out of your lives when you're kind of a front row to all this as a preacher's kid. We would get strange phone calls. We would get strangers showing up at the door asking for stuff, and and some of the people that he dealt with, I thought were absolutely Looney Tunes, just straight up Bellevue bait, and I could not have done. And I taught felons in inner city Los Angeles, and I don't know that I could have had the patience that he had. Had it been me, it would have been increase your lithium dosage, click. But again, he had that. He had the gift. He used to pick up hitchhikers on the freeway in LA in the 70s, and he tried to do it with me in the car once, and I nearly got out of the car on the Ventura Freeway. He said, "Well, we got to spread the good news to the hitchhiker." Well, the only good news I wanted to hear at that time was that we weren't going to be murdered by a hitchhiker. But again, he had that gift. There was a quick story. There was a girl this teenage girl from Florida. Came to Tarzana because there was a teen idol B-list celebrity named Jimmy McNichol that lived near the church in Tarzana, and she had it in her mind that she was going to marry him and that he was going to give her a wedding ring. And she came out here with nothing but an empty finger for this wedding ring. And she would camp out in front of his house. Her parents were worried sick about her. Dad let her take her meals at our house, and she had no place to stay, so he let her stay in the church office for a week. At least until her parents were able to get her back. And I know they were so grateful that they sent us a big bag of oranges for Christmas from Florida. And on a personal note, this compassion and this generosity extended to me. I know that as a son, I presented challenges that were probably not in the handbook. I have no doubt that when the stork dropped me off, he said, "You might want to hold on to the receipt with this one." But Dad, he, as challenging as it was, extended that same courtesy and patience and tolerance and love and compassion to me. And in the last couple of months, he shared some things with me that meant absolutely everything to me. I will I'm going to end with this. And whenever I need to be reminded of him, or need a memory of him, or whenever I just need to see him again, all I have to do is go into the bathroom and look in the mirror, because there he is. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming to my dad's celebration of life, and I love you, Dad.